welcome to my channel. Over the next few days, we're gonna be doing some homeschool planning for quarter 1 of this upcoming homeschool year. I've put it off long enough, it needs to get done. I like having a plan, but sometimes it's just so hard to actually plan, to go through all the things that you need to do, and it's just takes a lot of time, and pulling out all the curriculum and everything, it's just not always my favorite thing to do. But I'm mostly gonna be going through our group work. So I have like our Good and the Beautiful science units out here. I need to decide which one's gonna be the best fit, because some of them have some activities that might be better to do outside, so they might not be good to do during the winter time. So I need to go through that and look at it. I think for history, I picked to do Pompeii. We might actually make it through 2. I picked this one because it has some volcano activities, which I do not like to do those in my house, and so we're gonna still do those while it's warm outside. And then I have my morning basket cart, my morning cart over here, because it has my geography curriculum. So I need to look at the states we're doing, see if there's any activities I want to do with them, and then also make a list of the states, because my kids are going to do like a mini report, like oral report on them at the end of the quarter. And so I want to make a list so they can pick them at the beginning of the school year, and we're going to start school in just a couple weeks, like right after Labor Day is usually what we do. And then I have several other miscellaneous things. You'll see bits and pieces. I'll talk about bits and pieces as I go through it over the next few days, and the things that I need to get and what I decided to do and all that kind of stuff. But these are our Friday schedule, which I'm horrible at utilizing this. And then our winter school schedule. This is really good for the first few weeks, and then we kind of get into a routine anyways. These are usually like up on this bulletin board back here. And so I just need to redo this, because obviously this was for winter, not for fall, and go through and put in what they're supposed to work on every day, which I will also put in their binders. If you saw one of my recent vlogs, I talked about these binders in the vlog and went through and kind of showed you what was in it already. Not very much, just a checklist, but there'll also be a kind of a flow of the order of things that I want them to do on those certain days, just so if they need to look in their binders, since that'll be like in their drawers and stuff, then they can do that if that's easier for them. I also need to decide, you can't really see it very well, there's a book bin over here, like this metal container, what books to set out. Sometimes I'm really good about going through those books and reading them, and usually they have to do with seasonal things. So going into the school year, usually I do fall, or like apples or leaves or something, and we might have activities either on Fridays, or sometimes I incorporate them during the week that deal with those things. Fall is much easier for me to do that with. I just feel like there's more activities, there's more food options, it's just more fun for me to do it that way. And then, you know, we'll switch it for like Halloween and Thanksgiving and that kind of stuff. So I need to figure out what I want to do there. So there's just lots of little moving parts. Again, like I said, I like to have a plan. I don't always do this. I'm not very good at like sitting down at the beginning of the quarter and looking. I kind of just like look a few weeks out and I'm, okay, I have everything, or even the day before. I'm like, I have everything, and then we go from there. But everything goes much smoother, and we actually do more things if I actually look ahead and make a plan. So that's what we're gonna kind of do. And I'm gonna bring you along as much as possible. You know, I don't want you just to sit here and watch me like do everything, but I'll plan some things and then talk to you about them and just show you kind of everything that we're gonna do. So hopefully that sounds good, but let's plan some homeschool together. All right, so I planned for about an hour tonight. It is nighttime, just because that's the easiest time for me to have like uninterrupted time where I can kind of spread out all over the table and figure stuff out. And so that's why I planned to do it right now. Maybe tomorrow I can do some in the afternoon as well, we'll see. But I got a few things done, not a ton, just because it took a long time just to write in my planner. And I'll try to like insert closer pictures here. So this isn't all done. This planner is one I've mentioned before. It's from Erin Condren, and it's the Homeschool Planner. And so it comes just with blank pages. And I actually used it at the beginning of this, like in January and February, but I didn't really like using it the way that I was using it. So like I said, all this is blank, and I had all my kids' names up here and would write down everything that they were doing in math and language arts, but I didn't really need to know that. And so it was kind of just like, why am I doing this? Why am I writing this all down? Because they just go to the next lesson anyways and those things. And so today, as I was like, oh, should I use that planner? Because again, since everything's blank, it's fine. Like I can just fill it in when I need to use it, right? So even though it's been months, I'm like, oh, I can still use it and see if I like it, if I try it a different way. And so I put in our group subjects at the top, so science, history, geography, and then put the dates over here. And then I have started filling in science. It took me a second to figure out what science unit we wanted to do. I have 5 that I'm looking at for the whole school year. I don't know if we're gonna get through them all, but I landed on motion and simple machines just because it looked like it had a lot of building things into it, like in it, building things in it. And so if we needed to be outside or have more space to experiment with things like that and have nicer weather, then we needed to do it first or not do it until maybe springtime. And so I went through and was like, okay, because mammals is another one I want to do. These are all from The Good and the Beautiful. And so I thought mammals might be a better one to do during the winter time. And I have we probably will start chemistry right after this one. And so this just seemed like the best fit for the time of year and everything. And it'll be a fun one to kind of launch into homeschool because there are a lot of hands-on activities, which means a little bit more work for me. I still need to go through and write a list of what I need to make sure we have. A lot of the things we probably already do, but some of it we might not. So I have that. So I just went through and wrote down the lessons through the first quarter, and we'll start chemistry towards the end of the first quarter because this won't get us all the way to the end of the first quarter. And then my 7-year-old daughter will be joining us on this, but there's a lot of stuff that is a little bit harder. This one, she might actually be able to do more, but there's also things that are a little bit harder. So the end of last school year, we had started doing some of these little hearts and hands science units together. They're very simple, very short. Some have activities and they're all optional that you can do. So I added these into my plan as well. Just basically 2 lessons each time we do a normal science lesson together with my other kids is what I do with her, just again because they're pretty short. And so if we don't get through 2, we can just do it on a different day that week or something. We'll figure it out. So figured we can try that out and see if that would work. So that's basically what I got done. And this time, like I went through, filled in all the calendars in here and filled in all of this information and then started planning for science. So hopefully over the next few days, I'll be able to fill in the rest of the stuff. Now that I have kind of the basic groundwork, hopefully it'll be a little bit faster and easier to fill in everything else. But that's all I'm gonna do tonight so that I can go relax a little bit before I go to bed since my kids are all in bed already. And I will see you hopefully tomorrow. Okay, I'm back today. It's the next day. So I did some planning this afternoon. So I was gonna show you what I got done. And then I'm hoping to get some more done. This is just like such a nasty beast. I'm sure some people it's faster, some people it's slower, but it just takes a while to go through everything, to sort through everything. But again, once you do it, then everything's fairly smooth sailing for the quarter or whatever. But so here's what I did today. So I wrote geography curriculum in here, and as I was writing it, I realized I wrote, geography here to write what we're doing for geography, but wasn't paying attention or thinking about it. So I wrote all the geography stuff under the science column. So that was really good. But that's just for the first quarter. So hopefully when I plan the second quarter, I'll remember that it needs to go under geography. So I just drew an arrow. That's good enough. And then I also was like, oh, I should fill in some more categories. So I did scriptures, read aloud, and sensory bin. And I don't know how specifically I'll plan sensory bins, especially right now. It might be more of like a week to week sort of thing, like at the beginning of the week or like on Saturday, you know, for the next week. Go through our sensory bin stuff for my toddler and figure that out. I did order some things off of Amazon, so maybe if they get here before I need to have this video all done and stuff, I will show you the things that I got and kind of like my ideas about that. If not, I'll try to show them in a future video. But read alouds, I did get filled in at least for history, because most of our history is read alouds. There's a little bit in the booklets, which I did print. I only had one booklet printed, and these are just from the Waldock Way on her blog. She has mini units. So I printed the 4 more for my kids. So I need to bind these and stuff. So they have like a crossword, a word search, and some different things they can fill in, a timeline. And then I didn't print the last few pages because there's answer keys and trivia pages. So in my original copy, I have that kind of stuff. But then I just printed a few pages. So there's like 11 pages or something. And I printed 4 of them out for my kids. So I went through the books that I had on Pompeii and wrote in kind of an outline. Obviously, we might get off track a little. Maybe one day we can't read as much or whatever. So I did those read alouds. I need to go in and write stuff for the other read alouds that we're doing. And since we don't have a geography read aloud for the first quarter, because we finished it at the end of last year, because I didn't want to leave us like hanging in the middle of a book. So we finished the book, but didn't move further in our geography curriculum, if that makes sense. And so we actually have like another month and a half or something, I think, before we start another book for our geography curriculum. So it works out really well. Actually, it makes it easier for me to start incorporating history right from the beginning. So I did that, and then I have a scriptures column. Most of our scriptures are fairly like easy every single day. Like it goes in a certain order and it's outlined from our church and stuff. So this is more just if there's extra thoughts or things I want us to work on or things like that. So I wrote all those things down. I actually was like, oh, I should have one for like PE or gym, or at least have like some ideas. Maybe I can just write them over here. I'm not really sure. Again, this is all an experiment on what works best. And it always is changing depending on ages of kids and stuff. So that's kind of what I got done there. So I still need to look through my science stuff and see what supplies I need. I did go through all the geography states. We're not covering too many. And I made a list on my computer of them so I can print them out for my kids to pick for their little oral report thing. And then also I was able to go through all the projects. And we're not doing that many projects for geography, but most of the stuff we have, they're fairly simple. One of them, I think there's a couple baking ones, and some of the stuff, right, I can't get until it's like closer to when we're actually gonna do it. So I made a list for those things. I haven't done that for science yet. And then I need to decide if we wanna try to cover another history unit for the second part of the quarter, or just see how this first part goes, because maybe it'll go longer than I think. And so I don't want to try to squeeze something else in if we don't have time, but if I already have it planned, then I can just push it to the next quarter. So we'll see how that goes. I did type these schedules back up real quick on my computer. This one I just have saved, so I just changed a few things. It's basically the same. Again, mostly it's just for reference. It goes up here on the bulletin board behind me, so I'll hang that back up. But it's mostly, again, just a reference guide. Once my kids get into a routine of the semester, they don't really need it. So I did type up kind of a outline for their school day as well. I haven't printed those out yet. They go in their binders because I just want to make sure I have covered everything that I want them to do. And I was just going from memory and not like off of anything else that I've typed up. So I want to make sure I put everything in that I needed to. And then also the Friday schedule goes up on the bulletin board. This is, again, just very much an outline. And it just gives me ideas of what we can do, and also reminds me of what my goals are, like what I'd like to focus on. So I have this that will go up on the board as well. So that is what I accomplished earlier. So now I'm gonna hang these up. I don't know if I'll get these bound tonight. I might do that tomorrow or something during the day. And then look through science stuff real quick and then decide on another read aloud, and then we'll see from there. If there's anything, like there's other little things that need to be done, but those are the major things. So we'll see from there if there's anything else I decide to do. Okay, so I got the schedules changed here, so fall schedule, and I already had to cross something off because it was wrong on there, and the Friday schedule. So we got that all switched around. I put in some books right here that are just our fall and apple type books. So there's some of them that have to do with leaves, there's some that do with apples, there's Johnny Appleseed, pumpkin, just kind of anything fall that's not either, you know, specifically Thanksgiving or Halloween. So that's what's in there right now. And then I got this list printed out. This is our states, and so I'll cut them probably as it gets closer to school or on the first day or whatever, just because I'll lose them otherwise. So I'll probably stick them in the geography book. And then I finished these binders, at least as much as I'm going to right now. So I just printed like a simple cover page for them. And then again, I've already shown in a vlog all the other things in here. So these are the articles of faith for church memorizing are in there. Their homeschool like flow checklist is in here. And then also just kind of a daily outline of things he needs to do. And then my order of like preference of him doing them with how I need to help. So this only really matters for my 7-year-old because she needs help with all the things. So here's hers. And it looks basically the same. Oh, that one came out. It looks basically the same, except I just put them in the order like math, language arts, and wordly wise. And I have to help her basically with everything. So I tried to put my other kids in orders that are a little bit more independent while I'm trying to do all this stuff with her, which is about an hour. So hopefully they'll be through their math and some of their language arts, and I can help them with the things they need help with after I'm done with her, like schoolwork with her. So that's kind of the goal. We'll see how well it works out. Okay, so I think I got most of the planning done. You know, besides the little bits of week to week stuff. I finished doing the read aloud things in here. So I think we're gonna start off with Number the Stars after, well, we're finishing Ernest Shackleton, and then we'll do Number the Stars. And then I have another book that we're gonna read after that. So I put those in just kind of as an outline of how much to read every day. We might not get that much read, and sometimes my kids are like, finish the book, finish the book. So if that's the case, then we might finish earlier and read more, so that's fine. But at least this gives me an idea of kind of where we need to be to finish the books. And then I also put in a gym column over here, just for days that I'm gonna be in charge of kind of doing PE. I'll have them do something every day to be active, but then also some hikes that I'm thinking we could do. Some of them are more walks, especially in the beginning, since I need to be careful still. And if I'm hiking by myself with all the kids, going up harder hikes would be very difficult for all of us. So anyway, I kind of planned all that kind of stuff out, what our Fridays will look like for at least a month, and then we'll kind of reevaluate and see if that's working well for us and then keep going. So I got all that done, got stuff done here, so that's all planned. Thank heavens. So thanks for doing that with me or motivating me to get it done. And then I told you I would show you the sensory stuff if it was here, and it did all get here today. So I'm hoping to set this up in here for my son. So maybe I'll pull this out in a minute so we can see it. But this is the tray that I got, and it has like separate pieces. Again, I don't know exactly like you can kind of see here. So it has a big circle. There's little, what are these triangles? Like pieces of the circle. And I think you can set them on this side too and have little things in them for them to play with. And then you can have the big bin filled with something. So there's a lot of different options. So that is like the big tray for everything. And then I got this nesting bowl set. So these ones are like little strainers, if you can see that. These are all from Amazon and they're all from the same brand, Inspire My Play. And there was different colors too. I think there was some that were more pinks or more neutrals, some of them that were mixed a little bit more. So these have some greens, light green and a blue, but these are funnels and they're the ones, you know, you can push, like pop them out. And then I also got some of these scoops. So these ones were in some of the other colors as well. And so I got those, and then, well, actually, I think these ones are the green blue ones here. So this is, because I was like, oh, I thought I got them in green blue, which I did, but this is another option of colors if you want that. So there's that, and then something else that I thought was cool, by this same brand, they have these activity cards for sensory play. I did not know it's gonna be this big. It's like this whole, like this is pretty cool. And so it has these cards in it that give you some ideas of sensory play. So this is helpful for me because I'm like, oh, this would be fun and something that keeps my toddler occupied for like 2 minutes, really. You know, some toddlers, it keeps them occupied for hours. Him, we'll see. He's like a very much 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. So he's like just always on the go. So we're gonna try and hopefully it will keep him occupied a little bit longer so we can get group work done, especially. That's the hardest part, without him interrupting us constantly. But this gives a whole bunch of ideas. Again, that's like the hardest part, and it tells you the supplies on the back for making them. You know, you could always buy rice that's already like colorful and mixed like this, and then tells you how you can play with it. But it gives you there's so many cards in here with so many different ideas of how to use either this sensory tray. You could have your own, you know, like a table with the bins in it. I considered getting something like that, but this just seemed to be better, especially since it's easy to move to different areas of the house. Like if he's working outside or at the kitchen table or something, we can easily move stuff around. So I love that there was ideas. So let me just open the tray. I'm not gonna open everything, but I'll open the tray, and then throughout the school year, you'll probably see us playing with it or him playing with it, and like seeing me set up some different activities every once in a while, probably in vlogs and stuff like that. And so I'll open this so we can at least see it, because I'm kind of curious exactly what it looks like and how big it is. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. We'll be done with this video and done with planning and ready to start homeschool. Okay, so when you pull it out, it's this huge round bowl, basically, you know, and then the lid comes off, and it has probably some different ideas and more accessories. You know, I think the brand probably has more accessories. And then when you open this, it has the individual section, so you can leave it like that. You can take these out, right, and have them separate. There's like this paper that's in here. Or I think you could set them on here, and I don't know if that's kind of what this is for, to help them stay. Again, I'm not really sure, but you could set them on here and have a separate activity here, and then fill this huge bowl with something, you know, like the rice or kinetic sand or beans or something. So I liked how it was versatile. Again, it's easy to move from one place to the other. It has, you know, it was like a good depth and a good size, I felt like. So that's why I ended up picking this. It was a little pricier, I feel like, maybe $60, $50, $60. But I actually am really impressed with the quality and excited for my son to use it. Also, my 7-year-old would probably play with him too. My other kids love doing sensory stuff as well. So all of them will get to play with it, but that's what it looks like. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, you helped me be motivated to plan, so that was good. And to get some stuff done for Q1. If you like these types of videos, I could do them for each quarter and show you kind of what we're planning. It's nothing super crazy. I don't feel like it's fairly simple, but I know sometimes it's helpful, or sometimes it's just like the motivation you need to plan. And again, like, it was very helpful for me to be able to plan. So remember to give this video a thumbs up and let me know what you guys are planning to do. Like, do you do homeschool in quarters? Did you plan the first quarter? Or how do you do planning in your homeschool? Because I'd love to know, and I'm sure it'd be helpful for everyone else watching this video. And I will see you next time.